And we're back. Michael Cernovich, Cernovich.com. To the surprise of no one who follows me, Kanye West has been retweeting Scott Adams, watching Scott Adams videos. So, of course, a lot of people are saying, Mike, you know, how did you know this would happen? Wow, my hair's a little messy. People go, how did you know this would happen? Because I've been telling people, okay, yes, Minnie. Let me get you Minnie. Hold on, guys. I'm right here. I got to get her Minnie. How the hell do you use this? Hold on. I'm gonna be right here, guys. There. No. You got to quit pushing buttons, babe. You gotta. Hold on. We got this. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Where's Minnie? Minnie Mouse, the boutique. You want to watch the boutique? Yeah, okay. You can watch the boutique. Yeah, so Kanye is watching Scott Adams' videos, and everybody's like, oh my God, you know, can you believe it? How did I know this would happen? Well, I always knew it would happen because in this world, there are people who create and manifest reality, and those people are always going to find each other. So, you know, I'm going to get a little esoteric here because everything I'm saying is coming to fruition, right? So at this point, people who argue with me, well, I mean, you're just wrong, right? At this point, people who try to question me, they're just wrong. So there's a class of people, you know, Scott Adams used to call them wizards of persuasion. And then he called them master persuaders. I call them just architects of reality. And by that, I mean, there are people who with their own mind, they manifest reality rather than just dwell in the reality other people create. People go, oh, that sounds a little woo-woo. I don't care if it sounds woo-woo. Shut up. Go away. Right? I've told you people I don't want to be famous anymore. So if it sounds too woo-woo, just go away. Go watch CNN where you never would have told this. I was telling people in 2015, keep your eye on Kanye. That's what cracks me up. I've been telling people forever. So when I wake up and I see Kanye is tweeting Scott Adams videos, I'm going, oh, okay, well, of course. You know, of course this is happening. Of course it is. Because that was, you would expect architects of reality are going to overlap in terms of like energy. So people said, how did you know Trump was going to win, right? And I told you, well, it was an energy feeling. So here's the true story of when I knew Trump was going to win president. I was living in Paris at the time. Paris. I was living in Paris with Shauna, and I was just living the dream. Book sales are good. I had 14 countries in a year. You know, money was coming in. I didn't care about politics, and in fact, I ridiculed people who cared about politics. I said, why would anybody care about politics? What's wrong with you? So I was just traveling the world, living off book money, and that was, to be quite frank, amazing. Anywhere I wanted to go, we just went. So we were living in Paris at the time. And I was walking alone because I like to walk 5 to 10 miles a day when I'm in a city. And I was walking down the streets of Paris. And I looked over, and to the right, I saw this yellow orb. This yellow, like, bolt of energy and node of energy. And I go, what is this? And I was, like, drawn to it. And I looked over. It was the magazine boutique or bodega, and they had a bunch of magazine covers with Trump on the cover, all this yellow, bright things. And I said, oh, Trump's going to win. I just knew right then because I plugged into the energy and plugged into the energy of the world, and I go, oh, yeah, Trump's going to win. This was in, say, like June. So at the time I had, I don't know, 5,000 Twitter followers, and I just tweeted out, oh, yeah, Trump's going to win. Like a banal observation, I was actually at a cafe, just at a cafe drinking pour-over coffee made in a Chemex. And I just tweeted out, oh, yeah, you know, Trump's going to win. It was just, to me, a banal observation. At the time, by the way, I didn't know who Trump was. During law school, I had maybe watched The Apprentice, a few episodes, but I was not like a Trump person. I didn't know who he was because I'm not into pop culture. I think that's the difference between me and a lot of other people in the media is I'm not into pop culture. I don't watch TV. I listen to house music. So, like, I know who Avicii is. I know who Above and Beyond is. I know who Dirty South is, right? but I know who Armin van Buren is, but I don't know who like pop culture people are because I don't watch pop culture. I think pop culture is degenerate. I don't care about it. So I didn't know who Trump was. I just said, oh, of course he's going to win. And then people started attacking me. And again, I thought I had maybe 5,000 Twitter followers at the time. And I was like, well, screw you people. How dare you? This was to me just such an uncontroversial, of all the things I've said in my life, this was to me the most uncontroversial of all. I was like, of course Trump's going to win. And then people started attacking me, which if you know anything about me is like the worst thing you could ever possibly do. Maybe that goes back to, I was bullied as a child, got tough, we're all living a story arc. This is something a lot of people don't understand is because I haven't given the full manifesto of everything about the world that is true and that I know is true. But we're all living a story, right? Story arc. And my story was the fat kid gets bullied, learns martial arts, beats up all the bullies. Like that's the true story. You call that the Karate Kid sort of narrative. And if you study Jung, you study Joseph Campbell here with 1,000 Faces. I mean, if you really want to understand the news, don't read the news. If you want to understand the news, read Jung, read Joseph Campbell. And you think, well, yeah, the Karate Kid was a film, but it resonated with people because it's a story arc. It's an arc that a lot of people live. It's the arc that where you are today doesn't mean where you are tomorrow. So for me, if you start things with me, it's just not going to go well for you, right? If you're nice to me, I'll be way nicer than you could ever imagine. But if you really want to start things with me, then fine. It's like fuel. So people go, oh, Trump's not going to win. You're an idiot. You don't know anything about politics. And I was like, oh, is that right? And then that's what brought me into the election. So I just connected, again, not knowing anything about Trump, I just connected to the energy of the universe, the network node, and connected with Trump, the energy. And then I read Scott Adams's book. And I knew there was Dilbert, but I didn't know. Let me see if I can find the book. This is one of the most important books written in all time. More important than Plato, Aristotle, Nietzsche. This is probably one of the most important, top 5 most important books in the world. So I knew that there was a comic strip Dilbert, but I didn't know who Scott Adams was. And then I had this book recommended to me, and I go, wait a minute, the Dilbert guy wrote a book on mindset? I couldn't believe it. And this book was written, I think, before Gorilla Mindset even. So when I read it, I thought, man, Adams and I would just really think alike. Yeah, this book was in 2013. So when I read this book, I go, oh my God, this guy, Scott Adams, is like a mindset genius. He's an architect of reality. So then I was like, well, I want to know more about Scott Adams. How do I get Scott Adams' attention? And what I did is, unlike the deadbeat degenerates who use me, you know how you get somebody's attention? You write a book review. Because if you're a famous author, you have a Google alert and you read all the book reviews. So I have all these losers every day. Oh, Mike, do this for me, do that for me. Oh, what do you do? Thinking about themselves. I'm like, well, have you ever reviewed Gorilla Mindset? No. So then you're a parasite. You're low consciousness and you don't understand. So I said, I would like to meet Scott Adams. How will I meet Scott Adams? And then I said, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'll just write a book review. And I wrote a 2,000-word book review of his book. That's how we met, right? I didn't go to him like a parasite asking for something. Oh, hey, can we have coffee? You got time for coffee? Busy, important people don't have time for coffee. Okay, it's just the reality. So I said, I wrote a 2,000-word book review, and then that's how we met. And then he was in my first movie, Silenced. He's in my next movie, Hug. So that's how we met. And the reason I bring that up is because I wanted to meet Adams. So how did I meet Scott Adams? How did I manifest the energy? Well, I sent the energy into the world, you see. I didn't just expect, this is the difference between an architect of reality and somebody who walks down the streets others pave. I manifested that. I didn't just say, oh, I'm going to go walk down the street. No, I said, I want to meet this guy. How do I meet him? I'll just write a 2,000 review of his book. And based on my review, he could tell that we had read, Milton Erickson. We've had a lot of we were living like a parallel life. Yeah, Scott Adams says it worked, and here I am. Right. So the reason I bring that up is, how did Scott Adams get Kanye to watch his videos? He did a video. He did a video on Kanye. I mean, think about how simple and yet how profound that is. Scott Adams didn't say, oh, I'm going to reach out to Kanye's publicist. Maybe, no. Do you understand? That's how you architect. That's how you create your own reality. Adams didn't say, oh, I'll reach out to his publicist and blah, 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 and try to hit him up for coffee. Scott Adams, instead, he sensed that there was vibrations, and he goes, okay, I'm going to take what Kanye did, and I'm going to explain it and contextualize it. And as you know, Scott has a very engineer-based approach. That's why when people go, what's the better book, his book or Gorilla Mindset? I say, well, there isn't one. It's just that he's more analytical and careful than I am. I'm sort of, all over the place all the time. Just a different way of thinking. It works for me. But Scott's really good with the formulas. Platform plus persuasion equals power. That's genius, right? Well, that's his kind of thing. My thing's a little bit different. And what he did was he just systematized everything that was happening. And then Kanye's watching his videos. And that's how you architect. That's how you create reality. It's how you build the roads that other people walk on. So that's how people are like, well, how did you know Kanye and Adams would meet? I got a bunch of texts from journalists. They were like, dude, how did you know Kanye would be watching Scott Adams stuff? And I said, because they're architects of reality. What do you mean they're an architect of reality? I'm like, well, I don't have time. I don't have the patience for this stuff. Like I told people, I did the whole, woo, I'm famous, look at me, blah, blah, blah kind of thing. And I told people last year I was going to go more esoteric too. A lot of people, they missed that. They go, oh, Cernovich is trying to pivot. He's trying to pivot to being like a hippie because he's not a journalist anymore. I'm like, no, I told people esoteric. I said I was going to get more esoteric. I said, I just did the journalism thing to show you the power of the mind. Do you understand? John Conyers, one of the most longest serving congressmen, resigned from Congress because of a big, dumb gorilla, me. Does nobody think about this? I mean, does nobody ever just say, yeah, wait a minute. How did some dude who was just traveling the world writing about gorilla mindset and lifting weights and stuff, how did he get the biggest story about Congress last year that made one of the most powerful congressmen resign, right? Nobody puts it all together but it is all connected, you see? It's all connected because I view myself an architect of reality. So it is all connected because you can't do what I do if you're not reading books like this, You can't, if you don't view yourself as an architect of reality, then you're going to walk down the roads other people walk down, that other people have built, and you want to build your own roads. Another thing Kanye said that, is going to ring a bell. Kanye said, you live in the past, you're always in the past. Adams built on it. I've talked about that too. Here's what I mean. When people bring up things about me from years ago they don't like, I will pass a polygraph saying that isn't even true. People go, yeah, it is. It's true. You ever notice people want to try to drag me down with things from the past that they claim happened? If you put me on a polygraph and said, Cernovich, why did you say this or do this? I would say, well, I don't know what you're talking about. Never said it. You're a liar. No, I didn't. The past isn't real. The past exists in your mind as images and constructs, but it's no different than a film. And by the way, science has proven that most of your memories are false. This has been, you can go read the science of it. Science has even proven, the whole, where were you when JFK died? If it's a real strong memory, you're going to remember it. That's actually been proven false. It doesn't matter. Where were you when 9/11 happened? Your memories are false. And I can show you in a very easy way that your memories are false. Well, how do you do that? Think about a significant time that happened in your life. For example, when 9/11 happened, maybe you won something. Just imagine that for a minute. And then describe the picture. Draw a picture of what is happening. Draw a picture, explain it, visualize it in your mind. Well, you know what you just did? You viewed yourself in that image. Do you understand? If I told you, remember where you were when 9/11 happened, you wouldn't look at yourself because you don't look at yourself. You would be looking at other people. You would say that your image would be a description of everything seen outside of you. But instead, because this is the way your memories are constructed, you actually saw yourself in a movie. Right? This has been proven over and over scientifically. This is not woo-woo stuff. This has been proven, so you actually see yourself in the movie when you reconstruct memories. Well, if you see yourself in a movie as you're reconstructing a memory, then your memory is false because that isn't how you experience the world. When Mike Cernovich is in the world, I don't see myself. I'm taking in sensory data that's being filtered in through light and then actually being filtered in through cognitive filters and through past experience and everything, but I don't see myself. But when you look at a memory, you're actually reconstructing and seeing yourself. So that tells you that memories are false. So then if memories are false and memories no different than a movie, why don't you just create a new movie? Do you understand? Because if you believe, which is false, but if you believe Newtonian physics and you believe the future is dictated by the past, then what you must do is you must reconstruct your past. You have to reimagine. And people go, well, that's lying to yourself. No, it isn't, because your memories are false. This is easily proven. So you're not lying to yourself because your memories are false, because we're evolved to lie to ourselves about our past. Any memory you have, no matter how honest you're trying to be, you're going to be the hero. You're going to be better. Everybody else is going to be dumb. It's the way it is. So if you start from the proposition that your memories are false anyway, and you want to change your future, then you just reconstruct your memories, and then suddenly you're living a different future. So what is it? Well, that connects to Scott Adams' lecture on Kanye, right? If you have a view of the past which is negative, I don't know what that was. That was YouTube or something. If you have a conception of the past that is negative, then your present's going to be negative. If you believe, because bad things happen to people. If you believe, though, that the past defines you and that's who you are, then that's how you're going to live in the present. And then how you live in the present is going to how you live in the future. So for me, the mistakes that I allegedly made in the past never even happened as far as I'm concerned. Polygraph me. Just polygraph me. Never happened. And people go, oh, well, that's delusional. Well, you're delusional too, but at least my delusions help me. I think that's kind of like the difference maybe between me and other people is I start from the proposition that like we're all delusional. We all are completely exaggerating our self-importance and exaggerating what has happened in the past. So you can have your delusions be bad or good, and I just choose to have my delusions be positive. And then when bad things in my life have happened, I don't dwell on them. I've had horrible things happen to me. People, I mean, look at my skin. Go look at the old pictures of my skin. My face has fallen off. I don't even know that happened. Because I don't dwell on that, because if you dwell on that, you dwell on the victim past, then you're a victim in the present. So what you do is you rewrite your memories. So Kanye is hitting on all these themes. So yeah, Kanye is hitting on all these themes because he's one of the few architects of reality. I mean, so there are only a few. They're architects of reality. Trump is one. Everybody says what? When you're in Trump's world. A young Arnold Schwarzenegger used to be the same way. When you're in that person, you're in that person's world. They're constructing that reality for you. So that's why people go into the White House and the media goes, well, wait a minute, why is it that these people change? Well, because Trump is the architect of reality. He's reconstructing reality. And then you go, architect? Wait a minute, that sounds like the Matrix. That sounds like the simulation. Well, yes. That's why, you're being walked into understanding the simulation. So if you read Win Bigly, Scott Adams' book, there's like 2 pages, what if we live in a simulation? Because people aren't ready yet to fully realize that it is a simulation. And what does that mean, and what are the repercussions? Well, the beautiful implication of living in the simulation, because you can have one of 2 reactions. The beauty of living in a simulation is knowing that you have more power than you ever thought. I should not be where I am. Can we admit that? Raise your hand. Come on, you've read the hater articles about me. You've read the hit pieces. Let's not pretend like we're children and we're ignorant people. All right. We all know Mike Cernovich is quite a mythos. I should not be here. I should not have the John Kanye story. I should not have had the Susan Rice story. I should not be able to just go into the White House Correspondents' Room and tell all these people that they're terrible journalists and they're, supporting Antifa. I shouldn't be able to do it. I shouldn't be here. Can we just admit I shouldn't be here? So then why am I here? Why am I here? Because I'm creating my own story. Because I don't let other storylines dictate my current and future storyline. For me, all I think about is I manifest. I say this every day, my mantra, I manifest my will. I manifest my will. I manifest my will. I manifest my will. That's what I say all the time. Feeling depressed, feeling a little stressed out. The haters are after me again. People are lying about me. Because a lot of the stuff you've seen about me is just a lie. I will say that. And some of you really ought to know better than to trust edited, video and audio. But that's on you. So for me, I just go, I manifest my will. I manifest my will. I manifest my will. I manifest my will. I said all over and over again. Now watch, people are going to make fun of me. Media matters. Oh, Cernovich says he manifests his will. Well, yes, I want them to make that clip. I want that clip because I know when I'm touching my head and doing this that people are going to make fun of me. See, that's what I think is so hilarious when people, they make these like hater videos on me. It's like, one of the most media savvy people in America right now, it couldn't have occurred to him that by tapping his head and going, I manifest my will over and over again, it wouldn't have occurred to him that somebody somewhere is going to clip that and edit that, right? So that's what I think is so funny. People are like, oh, we're going to make fun of him good. It's like, yeah, I probably couldn't foresee that you were going to do that. But again, the reason I bring up mantras are here. So when you're talking about mantras and you think about your brain as a simulation and us living in a computer simulation, what you're doing is you're rewriting the code of the simulation. You're hacking the simulation because we're all kind of in it. I don't know that we can ever fully break through, but we'll see. But what you can do is you're rewriting your code in real time. We are artificial intelligence. People go, what's going to happen when we have AI? Well, we're the AI and we're in the simulation. So using our AI, we become Skynet, we become self-aware, and then you just rewrite the code. And then people want to hold you back. People want to hate on you. People want to attack you. People want to do this. But you'll notice one theme. If all you ever learned from me was this one theme, here's what you would notice about every interaction with people. They want to hold you into a fixed version of who you were. This is true whether they love you or they hate you. If they hate you, they want to hold you to your lowest point, the biggest mistake you ever made, the dumbest, most humiliating thing you've ever done. That's how they want to define you if they hate you. If they love you, they want to idealize you. Cernovich, you're the pro-Trump guy. Why are you doing this other stuff? You're going to make us look bad. You're talking about drugs. They want to idealize me, but it's like, no. That's the reality you're trying to construct for me, and that's the simulation and the bots trying to reconstruct your own reality because there's always a tension. So right now, everywhere you are, people are trying to write your code. They're trying to write your software. So if you hate me, you're going to say, here's Cernovich, evil person, hold him there in fixed time. If you love me for some reason, you're going to say, here's Cernovich, he's the this guy, he's the that guy, he's the this. You're trying to hold me there, see? And then in my own mind, I'm realizing that I need to just write more code and bring myself into a different path because I'm writing my own story. So if you think you live in a simulation, it might be terrifying at first because what if everything you believed is a lie? So there's a point like the Wile E. Coyote moment where you're running. I know what reality is. I know what the world is. Oh, wait, Trump won. And then, and then you fall over. Or you have a negative reaction. So the negative reaction, please don't let her unplug any cords, baby. Okay. Here. So what happens is you can have a positive or a negative reaction. So everybody realizes consciously or unconsciously that we are in a simulation. So if you hate Trump, what you're doing is you're you're still in 2016. I mean, doesn't it sound like the same articles you're reading today you could have read a year ago? Oh, Trump is they don't even call Trump Hitler anymore. So Scott Adams is good on that one. But you notice Trump is a demigod. Trump is dangerous. Like, where have you been for the past year and a half, bro? Right? Because they haven't moved. They're frozen because they've created a story of Trump. And the story of Trump they've created is one fixed in the past based on what they view as being his, worst defining characteristic. Trump's writing a whole new story, though. There's a whole new architect. So people go, who are the big architects in the world? Well, Elon Musk is. Scott Adams is. Trump is. And there's like a tier. So I'm like here. Scott Adams is like here. Kanye, and then Trump, and like is like a different, Trump is like a he's a George Whitefield type. I don't know if you've ever read about the Great Awakenings or something. Even when Benjamin Franklin went to a George Whitefield revival, you can read about it in Benjamin Franklin, who was an architect. You can read about it in his book, An Autobiography of Benjamin Franklin. He said, I went in there and I wasn't going to give any money to this huckster church guy. And then finally, after hearing the speech, he took his money and had to give it to his friend because he wanted to give all of his money to George Whitefield. So George Whitefield is like one of those once in a lifetime. You will never in your life see, a person like that. That's where Trump is. It's like a completely different level that if you're lucky, you're able to see how good he is. If you're like me right here, you can appreciate what he's doing and you just say, I'm never... Nobody's ever, there's nothing you can do to transcend that. Although maybe we could. Maybe that's my own simulation trying to bring me down. So there's people like that Clarence Darrow, he got, people off the death penalty never should have. Jerry Spence, he got Jeffrey Feiger off a case that he never should have got him off. So you got Trump, Kanye, Elon Musk. Thiel, I think, could be, but he's kind of hiding. So I don't know what Thiel's problem is right now. Milo is kind of laying low. Milo was another like once in a generation talent. And because see, the thing is you can be an architect, but if you don't have operations, you're still going to struggle. Right. And that's the problem like a lot of people have is they might be an architect, but if you don't have management and operations, then you're still going to find yourself in peril. But just because you're in peril doesn't mean it's over. So it would occur, and Candace is another one of these people. Did you watch how they abused Candace? By the way, who was an early supporter of Candace, and how many of you raise your hand if you attack me for that? Go ahead. I'll take the apologies now. Go ahead. I'll take the apologies now. So I knew that she was going to be the next big thing. I knew that, and I was promoting her heavily. And people are going, oh, I can't believe you're promoting her. She's a bad person. Can't you see? Blah, blah, blah. And I said, just watch. So everything is coming to fruition. Everything is coming to fruition. There's no question about it. So it's an exciting time to be alive. If you want to know the present, look at the past. If you want to know the future, watch me now. Thanks for tuning in. Mike Cernovich, Cernovich.com, CERNOVICH.com.